Liverpool is the place to be this weekend. Arsenal against Spurs later, but first to West London and Stamford Bridge. It's sure to be an afternoon of intriguing comparisons between the league leaders, Newcastle, and Chelsea, who are pulling in players from all over Europe to launch a serious bid for the title. Newcastle's championship aspirations are certainly boosted today with Alan Shearer returning just 4 weeks after surgery. And it's a big day, of course, for Gianfranco Zola as he parades his skills in front of the Chelsea faithful for the first time. Commentary comes from Martin Tyler.
Well, it's a home debut for Chelsea's latest high-profile purchase. Gianfranco Zola, the Italian international from Parma, while Norway's goalkeeper Frode Brodås also plays in the Premier League for only the second time. Frank Leboeuf comes back from injury, and Dennis Wise keeps his place despite an outburst at Ruud Gullit, who took him off at Blackburn last Saturday. Gullit keeps himself on the bench. The return of Alan Shearer dominates the Newcastle team news just 4 weeks after a hernia operation, and especially significant today with Les Ferdinand out for at least the next month with a broken cheekbone. David Batty plays despite an eyebrow cut in Tuesday's UEFA Cup tie at Metz, and Robbie Elliott, back for the injured John Beresford, is sporting 8 stitches in a head wound sustained against West Ham last weekend. Mike Reed is the referee. So Chelsea kick off. Early feel of the ball for Steve Clark. Mark Hughes helping it on. So breaking forward down the left-hand side. Frank Rijkaard and Marco van Basten here as pals of Ruud Gullit. I'm sure enjoying seeing the team managed by fellow countrymen. Minto. Oh, and the goalkeeper, who had a bad time in midweek, being responsible for the goal Newcastle conceded in the UEFA Cup tie in France. Got away with it that time. Seemed to be his ball easily enough. Elliott certainly taking up a wider position than perhaps was expected. Touching in with the other two now, and at times it is looking like a back four for Newcastle with Gillespie as the right back. There's Elliott's mistake. Out comes Cernicek, and Zola is just beaten by the advancing goalkeeper. This was Vialli trying to create for Zola, and Cernicek really redeeming himself for his earlier mishandling. Minto. Newcastle won't want to give away too many free kicks from this sort of range, and Wise does leave it to Zola. Newcastle have just put 2 in the wall, and Zola tries to whip it in. Vialli came across and was certainly a factor, but the Italian connection works for Ruud Gullit. Drilled by Zola, and Vialli, who hasn't got any hair to touch it with, inclining forward, and he was claiming the goal, Zola was claiming it. What matters to Chelsea is that they lead Newcastle by 1-0. There's a growing belief in this part of London that the pieces are being put in place at least for a really serious challenge for the crown. But here's Shearer to remind you all that Newcastle are the current league leaders. And they have the firepower to get back in to this game. Hughes chase it himself. Got a bit to do, only Zola in the centre. Minto, Vialli's in there now. He's got a better chance of reaching it. It drops for Zola. Well, the Chelsea fans know all about their new acquisition, but they've been counting the hours to see him in the flesh at home, and he's not disappointing them. Batty beavering away for Newcastle, and Shearer caught Wise then, and Alan Shearer has come back after his 4-week absence to make his first imprint, if you like, on the story of this game, as being the recipient of a yellow card for being high on Wise. This was what really had the fans roaring, the acrobatics from Zola. They didn't have Cernicek sprawling. Seems to be no lasting damage to Wise, keeping an eye on him at the moment. Still moving reasonably freely after that foul on him by Shearer. 4 minutes plus stoppage time to half-time. Chelsea, a goal to the good, which reflects the shape of the first half to this point. One or two moments from Ginola. Asprilla did have a sight of goal, and now Shearer onside round crevasse. No, still Shearer, and it's a goal. He wasn't going to give it up, and Alan Shearer is back in the grand manner. Krodos seemed to have held him up, but Alan Shearer would not be denied. There was definitely no offside. Goalkeeper got the first touch. Shearer then taking it back away out of the penalty area, it seemed, before spinning and scoring. The equaliser in the 42nd minute, all down to the determination of one of the game's great goal scorers. And he's back as though he was never away. Shearer for Asprilla. It's a chance for Newcastle, and a terrific tackle, much needed for Chelsea by Frank Leboeuf. Asprilla down, whether he's hurt or just reflecting that the ball perhaps didn't quite have the pace on it to take it straight away. He was waiting for it, and there was no waiting time in the end. It's a great recovery from Leboeuf. And at the moment, Asprilla, who has this almost elastic frame, needs some attention to it. In goes Shearer. Gillespie trying to hook it back into the middle. Batty. Just a little bit of time to reflect. There hasn't been much of that in the midfield area. He's very composed in possession, David Batty. Lee. Asprilla gets the nod to come back on. Newcastle continue to work very, very hard. And when there's an exceptionally fiery moment, you can expect David Batty to be involved. He's off for the use of the elbow. Mike Reid made it clear. And the game takes a dramatic twist here. 7 minutes into the second half. It was away from the ball, but there it was, into the face of Mark Hughes. So Batty goes, And Kevin Keegan and Terry McDermott are taking issue, presumably, one feels, with Hughes' part in it. There's Hughes going in now and swinging a leg round the back of Batty, but that doesn't excuse the arm into the face, the point of the elbow then. And Newcastle United are down to 10 men. Leboeuf. Vialli. Petrescu trying to run in behind here. Well, the flag stayed down. Cernicek didn't get it with 2 attempts. Beardsley with great presence of mind when others might have really panicked, getting Newcastle out of bother. I certainly wonder whether Petrescu was offside. Here's Hullet. Hughes! Well, it's his particular trademark, and it's a wonderful sight still from the Welshman. In these circumstances, a draw would be a praiseworthy result, particularly if you compare it to the defeat they suffered at Stamford Bridge last season. Beardsley actually scored the last time Newcastle won here in the league 10 years ago. Before he went off on his travels to Merseyside. Wise. Zola. His sort of range this if he can get. But he's put a pass through to Vialli. Well blocked by Cernicek. Once more, Zola and Vialli on the same wavelength. Goalkeeper did very well indeed. Chelsea have found it difficult to make real openings since Batty was sent off, but that was one of them. And there's Hughes, and that's an easier task for Pavel Cernicek. At times a much maligned goalkeeper, but Newcastle needed him here and he didn't fail them. You could say Vialli should have done better, and maybe that's what he's thinking. Zola. Pushing on here is Steve Clark. Wise. It's a good trial. What the bar. And Newcastle happy that they've only conceded a corner and not a second goal. Cernicek comfortably beaten that time. In goes Dubry. Hullet is there. And there was no telling touch. Chelsea coming on strong. And within seconds of Wise hitting the bar, Dubry using his power, Hullet trying to apply a finishing touch, but it stayed at 1-1. Vialli. Hughes and Hullet in the centre, others joining them. Vialli waiting for the cross, and it's a good one. Hughes going in. Zola's there as well. And this is Steve Clark to the fore. And real fun and games in the Newcastle penalty area. And Chelsea come close again. Clark repositions. Zola with the corner. Oh, and that was Petrescu. And again, as Petrescu wonders how it stayed out, the man to look at is Pavel Cernicek, who put up his hands instinctively and got enough on the ball to get it up and just over the bar. A tremendous ending to a titanic contest. It's another Zola corner. Out comes Clark, Lee Clark of Newcastle, that is. Back with Zola for Chelsea. Shearer going in. Chelsea's throw. We're into the second minute of time added on. It's over, and Newcastle raised their arms. They played most of the second half with 10 men. Pavel Cernicek, who's had his critics, and Kevin Keegan saw the goalkeeper make a mistake in midweek, but he made some really important saves after Baffy was dismissed for elbowing Mark Hughes in the face. The free kick from Zola that Vialli claimed he just touched beyond Cernicek. Alan Shearer marked his comeback after 4 weeks out with the equaliser on the verge of half-time. A tremendous match. And the final score at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 1, Newcastle United 1. How good is it to have a friend from Italy playing in attack with you?
No, it's fantastic for me, for Sparky, and I think for all the team, because Gianfranco knows very well offensive football, and he passes the ball very, very well, and he's a very nice guy, and he's a very strong player, so we will improve.
Pav, as a goalkeeper, you're either a villain or a hero, and I think today you've been a hero.
Yeah, but I mean, fortunately, last week or midweek when we play match was the opposite. But I mean, this is also for me a very important game because I have to fight back, which is I try to do.
I must ask the two of you about the goal now. From the free kick, you tell us first what you saw, Gianfranco.
I don't know. Gianluca said he touched the ball. I believe in. It's no problem. The important is Chelsea score every game.
Well, we'll try to clear it up for you now. Who did score? From two different angles, though, it's still inconclusive. But Zola reckons if Vialli did get a touch, he's found the point of contact.
Lui ha già detto che non sa chi ha fatto il gol.